Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Outs here. It's Tuesday morning, and the Raptors are going to play the Rockets in Houston today. And it's the first night of a back-to-back Houston to New Orleans. So playing the Pelicans tomorrow night. And then we're going to come back and play Phoenix on Friday. So it's the first of 3 games in 4 days. So it's a grind. We've had a lot of days off recently, and we're going to get a little bit more games jammed up together now for the rest of March. This is going to be like this. There's going to be 2 more back-to-backs this month, along with games pretty much every other day with that also. So they got to get ready for a frenzied pace with the season coming up with the schedule. So let's go ahead and do the preview for today for the Rockets game. We got the latest lineup news and the ref report for you right now. Let's get right to it. All right, the Raptors had some announcements yesterday through Blake Murphy. And, well, we got to talk about this because it does seem like today's going to be a challenge for the Raptors up front because it's looking like most of our size is out. Yeah. Jakob has back management right now, and he's not playing both nights of a back-to-back. And we were speculating whether Pirtle should play tonight or tomorrow. Which one's better for strategy? And I was saying he should play against the Rockets. They're the better team with the better record, and they do have good size. But it's not looking like he's going to play against the Rockets tonight. That if he's going to sit one of these 2 games, it's going to be tonight, and he'll be available for the Pelicans. Maybe that's like for sure. Let's get the game that we know we can win for sure. But I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly up to them because Pirtle is sick. That's what's going on. Pirtle has an illness. In some ways, it's not just his back that we're managing today. He's actually he's sick. He's sick. And that may be why he doesn't play today. So he's questionable for today. They came out yesterday saying Jakob Pirtle questionable for Rockets. Man, we need him. We need him because Trace is out. Trace Jackson Davis is out for sure today due to that finger injury that he got in the warmups on Sunday. This is really bad timing. This guy has a monster game against in 905, and then we want to see him run that momentum into the Raptors team. But he hurts his finger in the warm-up before the game on Sunday, and now he's sidelining. And it sucks because he's out. He's out tonight, and Collins out for sure too. So that's a lot of the center depth right there with Colin and Trace out, and then Jakob questionable. This could be a really weird game where Scotty's playing center against Sangoon, and we're a little bit undersized overall just because of the loss of these guys. So today's looking pretty rough right now so far if I'm trying to figure out how we can win today. Also, Chucky Hepburn is out, and AJ Lawson is day-to-day due to his ankle injury that he got on 905. But that's the injury list for the Raptors right now, and it's too center heavy, if you ask me. So what's likely to happen? Well, maybe they'll graduate Jacoby Walter to the starting lineup. Maybe they'll graduate Sandro. Either way, they're going to need to figure out if Jakob's not playing, who's going to step up and play as the 5, as the pivot. Is Scotty going to have to do it? He can in some ways play against Sengun and have some success. In some ways, I'm not totally happy about it, but it's adequate. It can be done in the pinch if that's what's needed. So maybe we have a notorious barbecue Mamu tonight as the starting lineup. I could speculate maybe that's what we're looking at for our team because of the upfront injuries, man. It's really too bad Trace is out because he could be getting these minutes today. That's for sure. Let's go look at the other side with the Rockets. Fred VanVleet, of course, the great Fred, came out with a new podcast yesterday interviewing Draymond Green, and we'll go over some of the details from that interview on this stream today. But Fred is still out due to his torn ACL for the season, and so we won't see Fred tonight playing against us. Steven Adams has also been out for a season-ending injury to his left ankle, so we will not see the big caveman-looking backup center, Steven Adams. And Jayshawn Tate has an MCL sprain in his right knee, and he is out, and he's going to be reevaluated in a couple weeks. So yeah, that's the injury list for the Rockets. It's not that bad considering most of their guys are available. So the starters for the Rockets at this point, of course, we played them early in the season and lost to them in Toronto in a game in that flurry of Texas games right at the beginning where we weren't in the right place with size and being able to deal with it. And it may be the same case tonight. Amin Thompson's playing point guard. Tari Eason is the shooting guard. That's a really tall lineup if those two guys are playing guard. That's one of the things. So Darko could go the other way and go small and just try and outrun them all over the court, but we're going to have a size deficit. So we'll just have to see. Kevin Durant at small forward, Jabari Smith Jr. at power forward, and Alperen Sengun at center. Yeah, that's their starting lineup. With off the bench, they got Reed Shepherd, backup point guard, Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella is the backup center. See, it doesn't get any better after Sengun with Capella coming in. G League standout J.D. Davison is on this team. Josh Okogie, Jeff Green, the long time veteran of the NBA, is still around and on the Rockets right now. Aaron Holiday, one of the Holiday brothers, is off the bench, along with Tristan Newton, who we just saw recently in the G League games against the 905 in the Vipers games. So he's a two-way. Also, Isaiah Crawford is on this team also. So, yeah, the Rockets are an interesting team. So far, like the ESPN matchup predictors not giving us much of a chance tonight, guys, as far as what they think is going to happen. They're saying it's a 63% chance that the Rockets will win today. Now, I go and look at what they've been doing lately, and they have lost 3 out of their last 5 games. They've lost to Miami, Golden State, and San Antonio, but they beat Washington and Portland in the last 5 games. So they've been a little bit on a losing skid. 3-2 or 2-3 in their last 5 games. So maybe we can still find a way somehow, some way. There are things on in our favor. That this is a young team, the Rockets, and they're similar to us as far as they don't really know how to close things in the fourth completely correctly. So the team that does that better today probably will win. Now, there is a reason why we shouldn't be too confident about getting things done at the end of the game, because this ref crew is really kind of scary. Let's just put it that way. And it's one guy in particular that's scary. Yeah, I saw this just now. I was like, oh, crap. They're going to try and make us lose today. They really don't want us to beat the Rockets today, guys. And maybe Darko and them kind of are understanding that, and they're going to kind of like pass on this game and focus on the Pelicans and the Suns in the next other 2 games coming up, because this one may be an L that they're handing towards us, because our crew chief today is Scott Foster. Yeah, Scott Foster is going to be at our game today, guys. Number 48, his 32nd season out of Silver Springs, Maryland. His favorite TV show is Ted Lasso. He likes the movie Braveheart. He listens to Michael Franti and Spearhead. His favorite book is Golf is Not a Perfect Game. His favorite meal is Maryland blue crabs and corn on the cob. His favorite app is PGA Tour Live. He liked to visit Italy. He wants to win the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships, and his hidden talent is body surfing. Scott Foster's officiating experience includes 2 years each in the CBA and college basketball's Big South and Southern conferences, and 6 years at the high school level in Maryland. Could you imagine Scott Foster refereeing your high school game? That would be so weird, man, if Scott Foster was there. So, all right, listen, this is the thing. This will be the 3rd time we've had Scott this year. Yeah, we've had him twice already this year. I don't totally remember those games, but we have had him twice already. We lost both the games he's ref for us this year so far, okay? Yeah, and it gets worse. Let me just hang on a second. Just hear me out right now. We win 43% of our games when Scott Foster referees the Raptors for the whole entire franchise history. The Rockets have the best record out of all 30 teams with Scott Foster. For some reason, the Rockets are his favorite team, like just for winning percentage. They have the highest winning percentage out of all 30 teams, not the Celtics, not the Lakers, not the Knicks, not any of those teams. The Rockets have the highest percentage for any of the 30 teams with Scott Foster. He is the nicest to them out of all the teams in the league. They win 66% of their games. 2/3 of their games are won when Scott Foster is one of the referees. So 43-66 for the Rockets with the crew chief, Scott Foster. You don't need to know what I just said right there. Yeah. Expect Scott Foster to try and steer this game towards the Rockets in the last quarter of the game. Even if the young Rockets don't know what they're doing to close the game out, Scott Foster's going to help them, guys. So be ready for that, especially since we're on the road and we're in Houston. I would expect a ref hit job on us by Scott Foster in our arena, but definitely on the away arena. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this is not good, man. Scott Foster is one of the worst refs for the Raptors, guys. That's just the truth. He's a bad ref in general because he's probably criminal. But, yeah, he's just been a bad ref for us for so long. And he is a master ref manipulator. And he will try and get the outcome that the NBA wants for this game today, which I'm going to guess is they don't want the Raptors to win because they'd like to see us slide in the play-in. And they're more likely to help the Rockets today. Seriously, guys. The second ref, at least, is a good ref and a guy that we have had a lot recently and somebody that I trust. But in some ways, he doesn't outrank Scott Foster. So he's not going to be able to be in charge today like he is sometimes when he's the crew chief. And that's Giamidis Petraitis, number 50 out of Kaunas, Lithuania. Yeah, his 11th season. He likes to show Narcos. He likes Coming to America as a movie. Swedish House Mafia. His favorite book is Great Gatsby. He likes Ceppaline. He likes to use Peloton to work out. He most like to visit Iceland. His bucket list is a cycle in the French Alps. And his hidden talent is ballroom dancing. Yeah, Giamidis is by far the best referee today for the Raptors. Born in Lithuania, Petraitis graduated from the University of Maryland with dual degrees in accounting and finance. He became a U.S. citizen in 2015. Yeah, we've had him quite a bit this year. This will be the 5th appearance for him at a Raptors game, and we are 3-1 so far this season. We did win the last game that he refed, which was actually in the last 2 weeks. We've seen him just recently. So, yeah, we're 3-1 so far. This will be the 5th game he's refed. We win 60% of our games. That's right. Giamidis is up in the pink zone, and he's a top 5 ref in this league for us. He's a very, very favorable ref for us. I don't know if he'll cancel out Scott Foster, though. And meanwhile, the Rockets win 50% of their games when Petraitis is there. So 60-50 for the Raptors with the second ref, the Lithuanian ref, Giamidis Petraitis. The third ref is a ref that's kind of been in the league, gone, and came back. And that's Danica Baruti, number 89, her 4th season in the NBA. She had her first season years ago, and then she kind of got suspended and sent down and come back. I don't think her stats are exactly right on the place where I get the ref stats. I think they forgot about her a part of her career before when she was a different name because the stats aren't exactly right on here, Basketball Reference. You need to figure this out. Baruti, in her 4th season out of Freeport, Florida, her favorite TV show is Friends and Ridiculousness. Her favorite movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Her favorite musician is Justin Timberlake. Her favorite book is Lying with Strangers. She likes to eat oxtail. Her favorite app is Yelp. She most likes to visit Croatia, and her bucket list is to own a cat cafe. Yeah, Danica Baruti has officiated 68 regular season games in 3 seasons as an NBA staff official. She refereed 12 regular season games as a non-staff official in 2021-2022 NBA season. Yeah, her original name was Danica Mosier, but she's now Danica Baruti. So I guess she got married. It's weird because I thought we had her way more than just one game. But Basketball Reference is saying we've only had her ref us once ever. And I don't believe that's true. I don't think that's true, actually. But they're saying we've only had her once and that it was a win. We're 1-0 with her. So we're perfect 100% winning. And the Rockets are 1-1 with her. So 50%. So 100-50 for the Raptors with a very small sample size with Danica Mosier / Baruti. This isn't right because they took all the stats for her when she was reffing as Danica Mosier and they're not here anymore. And I think that they're confused that it's not two different people. She just switched her name. And I think that Basketball Reference has a whole bunch of stats on Danica Mosier that they should look up. You know what? Let me go see if they have Mosier listed too as a separate entity on here. And that may tell me everything I need to know. Yeah, they do have Danica down here as another one. So, man, I should add these together. Hang on a sec. Let me see what this is. Yeah, you're stupid, Basketball Reference. You need to fix this. Okay, this is actually the truth. We're 4-6 with her. 4-6. So it's like, what is that? 4-6? What's the percentage on that? That's like 40% or something. So yeah, they totally screwed this up. And meanwhile, the Rockets are 6-5. So she does favor the Rockets. And yeah, they totally screwed up their website. This is not right. Okay, so let me correct this. They're okay, what is it again? So we're 4-6 with her, which is not the best record. And the Rockets are 6-5 with her. So yeah, I don't know the percentages exactly there, but yeah, that she favors the Rockets actually, is what this is saying here. And yeah, this is not good. All right, so the refs are basically Scott Foster and the other two, because the other two won't matter as much as Scott Foster. Scott Foster will command this game as the lead ref, and he will be the one that directs what the NBA wants. Danica Mosier Baruti. Yeah, that's so stupid that they have her under two names and they don't realize it's the same person. I might need to bring that to the attention of Basketball Reference, that they're splitting hairs there with the same person. It's not a different person, Danica Baruti, Danica Mosier. They're the same person. Anyway, yeah, that's a ref report. It's not good. It's not good. I was feeling pretty good about this game 2 days ago, but the more I found out about what's happening in the last 24 hours, the less I feel good about beating the Rockets today, guys. And it's partly because of the news about Jakob and the news about Scott Foster. These aren't good things. So in some ways, it's good that we're playing the Pelicans tomorrow, because that'll be a game we should probably get for sure. And there may be a disappointing game tonight where we lose the Rockets tonight and nephews crash out. Just so you guys know, it's just a warning. You know how I look at stuff and I try and predict things. Well, the lay of the land in Houston tonight is not good for the Raptors, with Scott Foster refereeing his favorite team in the league. That's the thing right there. The Rockets are absolutely Scott Foster's highest winning percentage team in the league. So this is a very, very tough situation we're in right now. In some ways, I think the Rockets aren't as good as the Spurs and the Thunder. But if you're going to put number one Rocket fan Scott Foster as the crew chief, yeah, that's going to tip the scales a little bit more to make this feel more like the games against the Spurs and the Thunder that we played recently. So this is going to be a tough one tonight, guys. This ref report is really bad. Really, really bad for the Raptors. And you guys know how I am with predicting through the refs how the Raptors might do. Yeah. We got cut off yesterday. We did a Lexathon yesterday. There was a lot of talking, a lot of enjoyment, a lot of happiness about the Double W Sunday over the Dallas Mavericks and Delaware Bluecoats. I did not get to the end of my stream. So we're going to have to do 2 classic cards today and catch up on the stuff that we didn't talk about yesterday, because we were rolling with all kinds of talk about rookies and the changing NBA and superstar system in the NBA and all that kind of stuff. Very, very good conversations. Very interesting conversations. Just we went overtime and YouTube cut me off. YouTube said, yeah, 3 hours is enough, Raptors Freak, and you're done. Was no choice of mine how that happened. Trevor J, words of wisdom. Thank you, Commissioner of Fun. Trevor J, sometimes you got to take a step back and remember life's too short and the world's too beautiful to let anger or sadness steal the moments you're meant to live. I love this one. This is a great words of wisdom. It's like, this is true. Life is too short and the world's too beautiful for you to let the darkness and the sadness and the anger and the bad things overwhelm your mind and that be the state that you live in. Find the beauty in life. I'm looking outside right now and the snow is melting faster and faster off my yard, and it's a beautiful sight. It's such a beautiful sight to see the river, the stream that's flowing across my yard of the melted water going to somewhere else or just distributing into the soil. It's a beautiful sight. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So, so beautiful. Yeah, it's been fun. I like when all the snow melts because it shows me the lay of my land as far as where the water will flow. And in permaculture, this is very useful information. If I can see where if a lot of accumulated water, like the 4 feet of snow that's melting in the last couple days here, I get to see where the water naturally flows through gravity across my yard. And in some ways, I can use that information to strategically utilize water flows in permaculture. Yeah, these are the kind of things I'm thinking about right now. That's right. Trevor J saying, "Happy game day. Let's beat the Rockets tonight." Yeah, I hope so. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. It's going to be tough. Scott Foster. That's all I'm going to say right now. Scott Foster. Blech. Rockets fans have been kind of turning on Ime Udoka lately. Yeah, they don't like him. They're like, man, he's a fraud. I think that he had a lot of success on the Celtics with that unit that he had, and he was so crazy. But some people in Rockets Nation do not think that the man's actually a good coach, that he's a fraud. That's what I've been hearing out of Rockets Nation a little bit, murmurs of this, because in some ways they're not happy with the performance of their head coach. Very interesting. Very interesting. Trevor Jace brought up that Luke Cornett's campaign has successfully won. Yeah, we did a funny bit on this channel a couple days ago about little kids asking their parents about Magic City. Oh, mommy, I want to go to Magic City. No, never go there. Never go there. Well, the NBA might have heard the voices like mine calling out, what is this insanity? You're going to have a strip club night at an Atlanta Hawks game? Yeah, well, smarter heads prevailed in some ways. Some people are pissed about this, though, too. Some people are very, very pissed. Adam Silver has canceled the Magic City promo night in Atlanta that was coming up next week. And Magic City's pissed. But in some ways, Magic City is also happy because this is huge. This is huge publicity. And as they say, any publicity is good publicity. So, there's a lot of people across the nation, around the world, that know of Magic City now. They may not have. It's more localized. Maybe the players, people traveling through Atlanta know about it. Stop in Magic City, get the wings, go see the ladies. But maybe a lot of other people around the world didn't know about Magic City. And now they do. Because Adam Silver said, no Magic City. Just like your great Atlanta Hawk legend, I'm going to be Mutombo and say, no, Atlanta. No Magic City. In some ways, look, they can be mad, but look, you don't have to do no work now, and you got the publicity. And this is the right thing to do. Seriously, this is not the right direction. Our world is decaying with decrepit criminals running the United States and demented, fucked up warmongers, Department of War, you fuckers. You're going to just start wars everywhere now. Is this what this is? They want to start the holy war to end the world. That's why they did this Iran war. We're getting to a bad place right now. So it's like, is this a sign of life that now strip club theme nights are going to be happening in the NBA? Adam Silver says no. And I didn't even know, I guess, that they were doing this. The Hawks are mad. Magic City's mad. Patrons of Magic City are feeling singled out and like, why the hell wouldn't you do this? It's an institution. This is beyond burlesque and naked women dancing around, taking your money and G-strings. This is an institution. This is a place that goes beyond the whole commerce and economy of strippers and strip clubs. This is a place of legend. And this is where you dissing Magic City? You can't let us have Magic City night? What? You think you're better than us? You think you're better than us, Adam Silver? We know you probably go to Magic City too. I mean, it's interesting, but the backlash was a lot, and I was a part of it. I didn't think it was proper to do this. Luke Cornett wrote a letter. Sponsors started calling Adam Silver, saying, "Yeah, we can't have this. What are y'all doing down there in Atlanta? You're going to have a strip club night? What is this? And the people called, and probably the people with this kind of stuff were calling Adam Silver, and Adam Silver, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is affected. I better call Atlanta and tell them to stop this right away. And they have. They have canceled Magic City Night on the 15th of March. And whether you feel like that's justified or not, I would say this: good job, Magic City. You got the publicity. There's people around the globe that know of your existence now. And who knows, maybe you're going to be a travel destination like Disney World now. Oh, let's go to Magic City this year, honey. Why do you want to go to Atlanta? Why? It's Magic City. Let's go there. Yeah. I want to check it out. Who
knows?
Any publicity is good publicity, Magic City. And think about it. You don't have to do the work for the night now. In some ways, you get in the headlines. You get the headlines. You're on ESPN, so you're getting the publicity. So it's good. Trust me. Even if you don't get to do your night, and it's not going to happen. That's right. Trevor J saying that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the great Canadian MVP and legend, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has tied Wilt Chamberlain with 126 consecutive 20-point games. That's a big deal. When you are doing a record that has Wilt Chamberlain involved, that is historic. That is legendary. That is on a crazy high level. Because look, Wilt's the guy who scored 100 in a single NBA game. Wilt's the guy who averaged 50 points in a season once. Wilt's the guy who, was crazy one year, and he said, "You guys don't think I passed the ball enough," and he led the league in assists just to prove something to somebody. Yeah, anytime you're getting in a record that has Wilt Chamberlain's name attached to it, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. And I'm going to guess, since he's tied his record, if he goes and gets 20 in the next game, he's going to break it. And he will go beyond Wilt the Stilt, Mr. 20,000. Mr. 20,000. Yeah, we're not going to say what stat that is. It's not points. Let's just put it that way. Mr. 20,000. That's what he says. 20,000. Yeah, and that Ric Flair lifestyle. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying also the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Nuggets, and Jokic got called for a fluffy foul. A fluffy foul? This is a grudge match, man. This is a match that's very important in the Western Conference. And these two teams, when they battle, it's entertainment. Yeah. It's good, high-level NBA stuff when you got the two probable MVPs who probably won't even be in the running for it because of missed games, battling each other. The last two MVPs, Jokic and Gilgeous-Alexander. It's funny. It's interesting on the Unguarded podcast. Check it out. Seriously, this is an amazing interview that Fred did with Draymond Green, guys. In some ways, Fred did the impossible. He kind of made me like Draymond to an extent. And I think that's part of the reason why he did this interview. And I think that's part of the reason why he picked Durant for the other one too, is that in some ways, Fred wants to help the image of these guys and show that, like, yeah, Kevin's all right guy. Draymond, look, he may be all this and that, but you have to see him from behind the curtain and understand the human being behind all the craziness that he is. And I think that's what Fred did. Draymond got a very platform to very much open up and talk about why he is the way he is in the NBA and what the whole reason for it was. And it's very effective. Honestly, I understand Draymond Green better than ever because of Fred VanVleet right now. But yeah, Draymond talks about what was my whole point of bringing Draymond into this? We're talking about the Clippers and the Nuggets and the Thunder. He talks about the 65 rule. And how Jokic and SGA will probably not be able to be eligible for MVP this year because they're both going to miss more games than the rule. And his whole point was throughout the history of the NBA, there's been guys who have won big awards that did not play 65 games. And that he doesn't think that the 65 rule should disqualify players from winning the awards, but it should be taken into account. And maybe you say, oh, yeah, but he didn't play 65. But if the quality of the games is that good, he mentioned, Kawhi Leonard winning a Defensive Player of the Year when he only played 58 games in a season. There's other times throughout the history of the NBA where guys didn't play 65 and they won major awards and it was not a big deal. But now that this rule is in, It's going to disqualify people like Nicola and Shea from winning an award that they probably were the number 1 and 2 candidates for. I think that it's still a good rule because it does keep thinking, but as Draymond said, these guys are legitimately hurt and they're out and they're going to miss awards just because they're legitimately hurt. In some ways, that's not right. I mean, I get his point. Draymond is no punches pulled. He is all out on talking about why he thinks that the new CBA, the CBA that's currently in place with the NBA, the hard cap with the second apron, is absolutely a disaster, and he hates it. In some ways, they weren't dissing CJ McCollum straight up, but in some ways, they're like, yeah, this dude didn't do us any favors with what he did as the union leader and what he agreed to. And it's funny having Fred there, the president now, kind of going on about, yeah, this isn't good. And I want to do something about this for the team, for the players in the league. But yeah, check out the Draymond Green Unguarded podcast. It's really good. And in some ways, it'll make you like Draymond a little bit more. He's saying that every single incident that happened with him in his career, when he's done and retired, he's going to go over every single incident and explain exactly why he did this or did that. It was funny. They showed the clip of him choking out Gobert. And Draymond's excuse is basically, I didn't know how long I did it for. He's like, I guess time just stood still for him as he slow danced the big Frenchman across the court by his neck. And you say, yeah, I didn't even realize how long I was holding him, is what he's saying to Fred. I'm like, that's hilarious. He's like, time just stood still as they slow danced in their, he was just super mad. He saw him grab Klay Thompson's jersey and he just went red. And that's why that happened, is what he's saying. And somebody's going to make excuses for his bad behavior. It's like, the fans don't know why I'm yelling at the team. The fans don't know why I punched out Jordan Poole. Someday I'll tell everybody why. It's crazy, man. It is crazy, man. Yeah. Trevor's saying the Clippers beat the Knicks and Leonard put OG on skates last night. Woo-wee. Did OG Anunoby try to apply OG-itis to Kawhi Leonard? And Kawhi Leonard had the antidote. Kawhi Leonard was immune because he had his inoculation, his vaccine against OG-itis. He could not be susceptible to it. That's interesting. That makes sense. In some ways, that's a Padawan to, Kawhi's Jedi, OG. He was not even playing during the playoff run when we won because of the appendectomy. And meanwhile, Kawhi was out there getting Finals MVP. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, that makes sense to me. I love the Clippers beating the Knicks. I love that. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Blessings to Randolph and the Phillips family. Game day blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. Bring all your chips to the center of the table and go all in on making a positive impact on everyone whose crosses your path. 100% and nothing less. That's right. Bring a smile and a charm and a helpfulness, a looking out for people to everybody who crosses your path today. Try and do something nice for someone. They used to talk about your Cub Scout or Boy Scout or Girl Scout good deed of the day. Get out there and do a good deed of the day. Why not? Do something completely selfless that has nothing to do with helping yourself. Maybe on the down low it is because you feel good about doing something good. But just go out there and do something for somebody that can't do anything to help you. In some ways, they judge the character of a person by how do they treat people that can not help them or do anything for them. How do you treat people like that? Do you treat them like garbage? You treat them like, yeah, get the fuck out of my life. I don't want you anywhere near me. You can't do nothing for me. How do you treat the people that you can't do nothing for you if you can do something for them? That is a very interesting way to look at things. And that's why I say the good Christians out there, the Church of Latter-day Saints commercials that I saw when I was a child on television in the United States, teaching the lessons of good Samaritans and being out in the public and helping somebody. Somebody's got a flat tire. You pull over and help them change it. Some woman is being talked to or menaced by somebody in public. You try and get there to protect her. There's all kinds of ways we can be the unknown stranger in life and come through for somebody when they really need it. So look for those opportunities and understand that, God's watching. And in some ways, he's keeping score, not by economics and your bank account, how many houses you have, how many cars, boats, whatever. He's keeping count by how many times you went out of your way to help somebody that you didn't need to help, that couldn't do nothing to help you, but you did it out of the goodness of your heart. That is what a true Christian is. It's not a Christian calling for all the illegals to get rounded up and thrown into a concentration camp. No, that's not Christian like. That's the opposite. That's antichrist. So yeah, blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. And I love this message. And I feel like everybody every day should rededicate themselves to this. Every single day. Find somebody that you can do something nice for that can't necessarily do anything to help you. That's real Christianity. That's real good Samaritan. That is the stuff that gets you in heaven. If y'all are worried about that and you're trying to get to heaven, well, do that kind of stuff. You'll get there. You'll get there. That's right. G's saying this. I watched the Oklahoma City and Nuggets game. SGA has elevated his game further. 2-game winning 3-point shots in a row. His mental is what sets him apart right now. Go Canada. Yeah, I've seen the highlights. He's cold blooded. Yeah, Rick James, cold blooded. Yeah, this man is like high performing right at the end, and that's high level 3-point shot with guy in his face, and just knowing he's got it. Like he's not worried about it and just taking it. Yeah, cold blooded. Just for old Buffalo's Rick James right there. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I love that. I mean, it makes sense. You know, if he has DeRozan code, he can be an MVP. He could be the best player in the world. But does that mean he's stopping on how he's going with how he's going to be going forward and getting better and better? No, because that's part of the consistency and the brain of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is never rest on your laurels and just accept this is who I am as a player. Go strive further and push further and go to other levels, even if you're at the very highest level in the league already. Yeah, I can see this. He's got DeRozan code. He grew up with DeRozan. He watched him on TV as a Raptors fan here up in Canada. He's seen DeMar DeRozan and how he came back every year with something new, like a 3-point shot or this or that. And DeMar's better on defense. He's doing this or that. He's improving every summer. And he still does as an NBA active player right now. Well, SGA going to do it too. He's not lazy. He's not wasting his life. He lives a certain consistency in his life that it's natural for him to progress to new levels as an NBA player like this. Oh, I love it. Just think about this, G. This is going to be the kind of energy added to Team Canada as we play internationally more and more. You know, SGA going to go up to higher levels. Yeah. Gordon and Bear and the Marco Bartlett and those Rowan Bear Jr. Senior is going to be feeling the good payoff of SGA's hard work on the international stage for Team Canada men's basketball, senior men's basketball. Oh, yeah. We're going to reap the benefits of this along with the Thunder as a nation, Canada. Oh, yeah, we will. That's right. Shaq Lindsay, I don't know what happened to your messages. Trevor, why'd you do that? Is what I'm going to say right now. Trevor, you're butt dialing, moderating people here real quick. I'll read all your messages, Shaq Lindsay. Don't worry. I'm going to read them all. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let's play our style of basketball, less ISO, more ball movement. Let's feed RJ because we know Houston's best defender, Amin Thompson, will be on BI. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We don't know how they're going to split them up with such a big lineup. Their lineup is so big. Like, how do we match up with them? Amin's the point guard, and they have Tari Eason at shooting guard. These men are all like 6'7" and plus. And it's like you go all the way up. You got Kevin Durant at small forward. Then you got Jabari and Alperin. This is a huge lineup overall. Where's IQ going to guard? Who's he going to guard, right? This is the kind of stuff we got to figure out tonight and how we're going to do this. It's more likely that the Raptors will employ a switching rotational zone and put a couple of the guys outside that are shorter, like Emmanuel, and keep those taller guys kind of shadowing around near the basket for boxing out, rebounds, and interior defense. Yeah, I don't know if we can do one-on-one matchup defense where it's kind of going to be like, you know, we don't player to player. It may have to be a zone kind of style with, keeping Emmanuel outside because, we don't want to have to switch Emmanuel down like on a bigger Rockets player where he's getting post-up mismatch exploited against him. So this may be an interesting aspect of things. The very large lineup of the Rockets. It could go two ways. They could absolutely dominate us with the size, which is what you likely think. But there's also problems with running a lineup like that, especially if you have true point guards like Shed and Quickly, that in some ways you could exploit them for trying to play a big, huge lineup also. That's why small ball and sometimes can beat big ball. So we'll just have to see how that clashes tonight. Because in some ways, we're going to be undersized no matter what when we're playing the Rockets tonight. And we're going to have to see how Darko gets creative with his ingenuity to counter that and maybe even find hidden benefits from that that absolutely help us. Another factor we got to think about for tonight is Shed's going home. Shed's been slumping recently, but he's in Houston tonight. And we know that Shed has powerful, powerful energy in that city from his years playing for Sampson on the Cougars. And, he may be slumping, may not have scored at all in the last game we played, but this is the kind of night and game where he may come up and rise up and do something special just because of the locale and the history he has at those coordinates on the globe. So, yeah, I'm expecting something from Shed tonight. And if not, just to kind of bust out of the slump a little bit, if not just to dazzle and delight and entertain his hometown crowd that's going to be showing up tonight. Jamal Shed's going to have a section of the arena that is cheering for him strongly when he goes back to Houston. That's happening. So we'll just have to see that effect right there. Yeah. G saying Raptors need to come out swinging and try to get a lead to try and limit ref hit jobs. Yeah. Scott Foster's a master. Scott Foster's #1 ref hit job artist in the NBA and has been for over 20 years. And, you really got to have a 10-point lead against the Rockets in the fourth quarter, maybe even a 15-point lead, considering Scott Foster's the one today. Yeah, and like I said, I've never seen Scott Foster's favorite team. I did not realize it was the Rockets. And having Scott Foster referee in a game where you're playing against the Rockets is a bad thing for any team in this league. It doesn't matter which team it is. It could be the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics, the Bulls, the Magic, the Heat. It doesn't matter what team's playing the Rockets. If Scott Foster is available, he is favoring the Rockets because that is his #1 percentage winning team out of all 30 teams in this league. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again. Realize what I'm saying, okay? And be prepared, Raptors fans, especially if things go bad tonight. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying this, RJ is our second best offensive player, so feed him because we know Houston's game plan is to compromise him. Plus, limiting BI's turnovers will help us to defend on the other end. Yeah, I think that I don't know why he hid you on this channel. Why do you do this, Trevor? You got to stop hitting stuff, man. You got to stop doing that, man. You got to be more careful. I can't have you be a moderator if you're going to keep kicking people off my channel, bro. I can't do this, man. All right, let's see. Because it causes confusion, and some people don't come back. You're supposed to be helping me get more people here, not making me lose people. Let's see. All right. The thing with this is Brandon might still be slightly sick. And, it may be good to use him as a target. I like what Shaq Lindsay's saying that maybe we lean on RJ a little bit more, partly like in the last game, because Brandon is ineffective because he's a little bit sick and his thumb's not exactly right either. So we'll just have to see if he can be a distraction. If he can be somebody to draw attention away, like Shaq Lindsay's saying, that would be great. That would absolutely be great there. Yeah. Okay. So I see you put that in twice. Yeah. Trevor's saying, I'm apologizing. I think I missed to block someone's message, my hand and my touch something. Yeah, you did. You did. Don't do that no more. Don't do that, man. Seriously. I know that you did it by accident. You didn't mean to. Raptors Champs is saying, good morning, Raptors Streaks and Champs. Good morning to you, sir. I've got my Raptors Champion shirt on today, a different one. NBA Champs, Raptors 2019. I think I bought this in Chinatown at a street vendor on the side of the road in Spadina. It was after the championship. I saw championship shirts just on the side of the road in downtown Toronto. And it's like, yeah, I want that shirt. And so I just bought it off the street. I remember when I bought this shirt. It was just a guy selling it there, and he's just trying to get some money, right? Raptors Champs saying, I saw a clip of Brooks saying Scotty can't shoot. Basically, he's not a shooting threat. It would be interesting to see how he responds when we play them. You're saying Dylan Brooks? Is that what you're saying? I'm just I don't know because full name answer is always important because there are different people that have the name Brooks in the history of the NBA or current, but I'm gonna just guess that you mean our villain Dylan because he's the guy who's always outspoken and saying stupid shit like this. Like he said stupid stuff about DeMar recently. Well, you know what? I don't care. What he thinks and what he says, he's saying stuff just to be controversial. In some ways, he's just saying shit to get attention. In some ways, he's saying wild, crazy stuff to be controversial. And well, whatever he said, I don't care. It's a grain of salt. I just wish you well with your legal troubles, Dylan. All right. Get that cleared up, get healthy with your hand, and show up for Team Canada. I don't give a shit about anything else. You don't need to show up on Friday in Toronto to play against the Raptors. No, you don't. You go ahead and keep helping yourself. Maybe you're not even allowed to come to Toronto right now because of some sort of legal issues in Arizona. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, he's always going to say stupid shit. And part of the reason why he says stupid shit is to continue to get a spotlight or attention on him. So yeah, I'd have to see this clip and hear what he's saying. I think he's wrong. I think that the misconception about Scotty about this started with him coming in the draft and everybody's saying, "Oh, he's great, but he can't shoot." A lot of the things you could say about Scotty when he was coming in the draft, you could say the same damn things about Cooper Flag. Oh, he's great at everything. He's a great defender. He's a great passer. He's a great rebounder. He can block shots, but he just can't shoot. Why don't they saddle Cooper Flag with all this shit too? Because honestly, the parallels are there. Because I think that Cooper Flag can't really shoot that good. You going to saddle Scotty with that label and moniker? Might as well say Cooper Flag can't shoot that great either, because it's the same shit. It's the same shit. You got a great, talented young player who can do everything on the court, but maybe one of their weaknesses, their shooting percentage or their shooting. Well, Cooper Flag's due to get called and labeled with this too, Dylan Brooks. So yeah, I would say that to anybody who says that kind of stuff. Another thing is a lot of people judge Scotty's shooting from last season, and that's stupid. You can't judge Scotty's shooting from last season because he couldn't shoot because his hand was messed up. His percentages were all down. His percentages are more correct this year because his hand's healthy and he can shoot better. And we are seeing him swish the ball, and he's actually a really good shooter. So I don't know where Dylan Brooks gets this. Maybe he's listening to old ESPN combine notes from fucking 2022 or something like that. I don't know where he gets this, man. Seriously. Stargate's here. Good morning, Stargate. Sorry once again that I had the chat cut out just yesterday. Just all of a sudden, YouTube just said your connection's unstable and you're offline. And well, it's over. We're going to call cut on your show real quick. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Will be a tough game to win tonight, but I believe they still can do it. They just need a specific plan. Exploit the Rockets' weakness. They do have a few. And if anybody's going to know it, it's going to be Darko, Jama, Pat Delaney, Coco, Mary Andrade, Mike Batiste, and all them. Yeah, they're going to be the ones that know it, and they're ones that'll be able to tell them what to do, and hopefully they'll be able to execute it, and we will be able to exploit something, like Stargate's saying. I hope that's true. I hope that we can see this. And it may actually be some way of exploiting their very large lineup that actually makes it a weakness and not a strength to have Ahmed Thompson and Tari Eason in the backcourt. That may be where the weakness is that those guys are the backcourt. You may be able to say this is like, what if the Raptors pressure those guys really tough because they're not legitimate point guards and they're ball handling suspect, and we cough up a lot of turnovers because we have Quickly and Shed dogging them like they do, Jacoby, and they're getting them to turn the ball over because they're not running traditional point guards. They're running big guys. And in some ways, those guys could get in trouble. Maybe that's how we do it. Maybe that's how we do it right there. This is another chance for Grady to show something for sure. Every game going forward is a chance for Grady to continue to audition for his NBA career and what it's going to be going forward, whether it's going to be an NBA career or not. And yeah, Grady can't take any opportunity lightly. He has to go all out and he has to look good. And I know he will. I'm rooting for you, Grady, 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 Grady. Neil's got the Rockets on blast. Why are you doing that, man? Why are you doing that? Neil, are you a Houston Rockets fan for today? He's got like a little alien thing in a rocket. What's going on there? What's going on there? That's right. All right, let's see. Is there breaking news? I didn't even really get to look at my tabs right this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and look around on here and see if there's anything that's that interesting or good to look at as far as breaking news. I don't see anything. It's just a dumpster fire that the U.S. government is on here right now. Let's see. Is there anything on Instagram that I should look at? Toronto Tempo Impact Collective being posted by Monica Wright Rogers. Swipe to meet the diverse coalition of partners creating grassroots change for women and girls in Canada. That's very cool. You know, of course, with Women's International Day and Women's Month this month, very, very cool. They have a ticketing update for the Toronto Tempo right now. Let's see, what is this about? Looks like Colin Murray-Boyles went to a baseball game, and I'm guessing it's World Baseball Classic. This is too early for baseball, Major League Baseball in the fields, right? They're at spring training still, and there's a big crowd there. So I'm going to guess that Colin went to a WBC game. Are they having WBC games around Houston right now? Somewhere around there? I guess Milbester could tell me, but I don't know. Either way, Colin's at a baseball game as of last night, so I don't know which game it is exactly. Let's see. Is there anything else? You know, Instagram's just so useless at this point as far as what it used to be for this channel. It's like, there's so much garbage and crap that I got to sift through to actually find the interesting stuff that's pertinent to our channel. It looks like Jeff Landicho's at Giants of Africa somewhere. That's interesting. Fred VanVleet putting on blast the Draymond episode, of course. Yeah, he's interesting, man. Draymond's very interesting. In some ways, he's not humble, but in some ways, he understands who he is and what he did. And I mean, in some ways, we got to give him credit for that. He said the one thing he wants to be remembered as is a winner. You know, and he says, people that judge me for being a defensive genius, I fuck with y'all. If you don't judge me for that and you think of me like I think of him as a glorified bully that got a card to do whatever he wanted in the league, then he's like, fuck you. It's like, basically, my fans, I'm with y'all, and everybody who doesn't like me, I don't care. Screw you guys. You know, he said that, like, part of the reason why he could say so much to the refs and get away with it is because he's playing a psychological game, not just with the players on the other team, but with the referees. Like, there's a story that Draymond tells Fred on this episode where he says, one of the referees once said to me, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm from the south side of this so-and-so place." And he wouldn't say which ref it was. I kind of wish I knew. And Draymond said, as soon as he said that, because he was pissed off at him and threatening him with, like, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm from so-and-so borough, or I'm from so-and-so town, and we don't fuck with people like you. We're going to fuck you up," or something like that. Draymond knew that he had beaten the ref psychologically. And then he said after that, he could say whatever he wanted to the ref for the rest of the game. So what he does is he looks for these little openings with the referees to have an advantage over them where they're in trouble if they do anything. Like, one time a ref touched him, like, lost their temper and actually put hands on Draymond. And Draymond took that as an opportunity to go ahead and cuss the ref out for the whole rest of the game, because he knew he could make the case to Adam Silver and everybody afterwards that the ref was wrong because he got physical with him in the game. So in some ways, Draymond's playing a psychological game, not just with the other team. He's playing it with the refs. And in some ways, he's gaming for advantages over them so that he can get the calls right. So when we've seen Draymond Green cussing at refs, that's because he cultivated an opening to have the card to do it. I've always thought, why the hell can he cuss at them and nobody else can? Because Draymond Green is literally figuring out situations where the ref's in trouble with him, and he gets that right to do it after that because of this weird psychological whatever. He understands the rules, and if the ref is out of pocket, if he gets the ref to lose their temper towards him, that's an opening for him to go even worse. Isn't that crazy? Like, learning that revelation about him and the referees makes more sense now. Because I was always like, why the hell did they let him do this? That he just goes off. And it's like, why don't they tee him up? Why don't they do this? It's because they already fucked up Draymond realized it, and he's taking that advantage of them fucking up and going in on them. That's what he's doing. It's the craziest phenomena. And in some ways, it's very singularly true to him. There may be other players in the league like LeBron that maybe do it to a slight degree also, but nobody does it like Draymond Green. Nobody. It really is this kind of weird thing where Draymond lives in this whole other world than us in his head. And his world, he sees things that normal people don't, and he exploits them. And in some ways, his behavior on the court may not make sense to us half the time, whether it's violence, whether it's attacking people, whether it's yelling at the refs. He is gaming everything to try and win by doing those kind of things. And one of the things he's gaming is advantages over the refs because they screwed up. Isn't that crazy? When I found that out yesterday, watching Fred's Unguarded podcast, I was like, wow, maybe he is a genius in some ways, but he's not a genius in some ways for being defensively good. He's a genius for the psychology of how to play in the NBA. That's where he's a genius. It's not about positioning or anything. He's good at positioning, and he's smart for building his NBA career around giving screens to Steph Curry. But the whole idea of how Draymond Green became Draymond Green and won all this game, the championships and all that stuff is very intriguing and interesting how he did it. Very, very interesting how he did it. Smooth saying that, yes, the WBC is in Houston, Miami, and Puerto Rico. Okay, so Colin went to a WBC game last night, is what I saw. That's it right there. Yeah. They also had games in Japan as well. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Kaloy saying, morning, Lex and fellow freaks. Excited to see who we get for the last roster spot. I hope it's Cole Anthony. That should light a fire in our young guards. I think he's the best candidate out of the ones that they have named, but we're hearing another thing that's very strange about the last roster spot, which should be filled in the next 5 days. That one of the reasons why the Raptors called Markelle Fultz to the 905 is he's getting a tryout for the last roster spot. This is according to Grange. Grange came out with a report yesterday that Markelle Fultz representation group and himself are expecting a chance to be on the Toronto Raptors if he does certain things right on the 905. I don't understand how this could be true because, first of all, the deadline is the 15th, so that's in 5 days. So there's really only like one 905 game before that. And he didn't do anything in the game on Sunday to prove that he should be on the Toronto Raptors. I don't understand how he can play one game against the Westchester Knicks on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. and showcase enough that Darko and Bobby will be like, yeah, we're going to put you on the Toronto Raptors outright. I don't agree with this. I feel like in some ways maybe they said some of this just to give him a tryout to come here, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. The track record's not there. And just because he's a number one pick in the whole draft and he's like all this and that doesn't mean I would just hand him the last roster spot. In some ways, it doesn't make any sense to me because we don't need him as a point guard. And really, what is he otherwise? He's not a good shooter. I just don't see this. We're much better off with Cole Anthony, his former Magic teammate, than Markelle Fultz himself. So this report that Markelle's getting a tryout to make the Raptors through the 905 right now, I call bullshit. I call absolute horseshit. And Grange has reported it. That it's like that. It's really, really weird, man. Really, really weird. Reggie's saying Green is a product of today's game. Credit to him for that. No, I don't want to give him credit. You know what he is? It's not even that, man. He's not a credit to today's game. He's not a product of today's game because there were players like him way before him. Dennis Rodman, Ron Artest. He's just the latest version of those guys. It's just that in some ways his path to become who he is very interesting. Like when he describes how he made the NBA and how he went about becoming the player that he is very interesting on this episode with Unguarded. He looked for opportunities to differentiate himself from anybody else in the league, and he went with them. And a lot of it's very established from his younger years playing for Michigan State for Tom Izzo. He said that Tom Izzo said, Draymond, this is what you are. You're a winner. This is what your skill is. You're a winner because you add to winning because you do all the things on the court physically or getting after it, working hard to help your team win. And every single level you've been on and where you go, you win where you go. So that mentality was instilled in Draymond in college when he played for Tom Izzo as a Spartan. And he just took that mentality and applied it in different ways. He talked about his rocky start in the NBA. And it was funny because he actually brought up some things that I remember. Things like from his rookie year, the Warriors used to use him as a spot defender. He wouldn't play the whole game, but then they would put him in at the end of the game just to shut down Kobe Bryant for like the last minutes. You guys remember that period of time in his career? I do now because it reminded me of it. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember when they used to use Draymond like that. And he talked about playing for Mark Jackson. He talked about the switch to Steve Kerr and how Steve Kerr didn't believe in him and he made him start all over and made him do all kinds of crazy stuff. But the thing that got him where he got to in his career was recognizing that if he got Steph Curry to play off of him as a screener, that could be his bread and butter for his whole entire career. And that's it right there. It's not even that he's a good defender. He's really good at helping Steph be Steph. And that they realized that synergy was the championship synergy right there. And, you know, it's not even that he's smart about it or anything. He was smart about understanding the opportunities and what he needed to do to differentiate himself and establish an NBA career. And he tells a story about when he realized, this is when I realized I could be an all-star. This is when I realized I could be a top player in the league because, oh, they messed up. And I saw the path and I saw how I could do it. And then he went and did it. He's a special player. In some ways, he sees the NBA in a totally different way than any other player in the league. But I don't think he's a product of today's game. In fact, he is a throwback to the old game. And it's just that he's in the modern version of the NBA. And he's the one smart enough to have figured out the psychology game to be able to play the style that he plays better than anybody else in the league. And that takes being a very intelligent individual, a hardworking individual, and somebody who can make a decision in a split second, which may be a mistake at some points, but also very helpful at the same time. There's always a method to his madness with the psychology of his chaos. And that's what I learned from Unguarded podcast yesterday. Yeah, it's interesting. You guys got to watch it. Seriously, I don't like Draymond. And they spend most of the podcast just talking solely about Draymond. He gives some credit and some really nice words to Fred back, but they don't talk about the championship with the Raptors and what happened that year. They talk more about Draymond's whole entire career and his image in the NBA. And they even talk about like the NBA, state of the NBA with the salary cap and the All-Star game and other things like that too. So yeah, and Fred says he wants Draymond to be his vice president in the Players Association. That when they're going to try and change some of the stuff like the hard cap on the NBA because they hate that. They don't want the hard cap. And they don't like the parity, apparently. In some ways, they don't like it. And that when he politics and goes to the board meetings, he wants Draymond to be there with him to talk with everybody that's involved. So I think that's pretty interesting there. Who knows? Maybe Draymond will be the vice president of the Players Association under Fred soon because it seems like Fred wants that. Seems like he does. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. Good morning to you, MJ. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Tuesday so far this morning. Let's see. Raptors Reddit of the day is XC2215X. And they are pointing out that Danny Green did an interview recently, and he has revealed how angry Kyle Lowry was when DeMar DeRozan got traded before the Toronto Raptors title run in 2019. He wasn't fucking with anybody. Yeah, I've heard the stories about this. And the energy around Kyle that year, at the beginning of the year, was very noticeable. That you could see he wasn't happy with this at all. And that makes sense. The bromance and the happiness of Lowry and DeRozan was very evident. It was one of the strongest bonds between teammates ever in the history of the NBA. And yeah, of course, Kyle was pissed off. And he was pissed off right up until Christmas that year. The whole first half of the season, Kyle Lowry is secretly on strike and very upset. And in some ways, he didn't like Kawhi Leonard, too. So, yeah, it's funny to hear Danny Green circle back and do interviews and talk about just how much Kyle Lowry was disgruntled and pissed that DeMar got traded. And we knew this, but it's like publicly it wasn't out in the open, but we felt the energy. And that was the period of time when Kyle Lowry would sit at the end of the bench with a towel wrapped around his head at the very end of the bench where Chris would sit in defiance and anger towards the Toronto Raptors franchise for trading his best friend to San Antonio. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, XC2215X, for your Raptors Reddit post of the day. That's right. You got the honor, my guy. That's right. It's interesting. Fred said in an interview recently that his favorite player to ever play with in his entire career was Kyle Lowry. That him and Kyle had it just like in the they had the same brain and they worked off each other so well. We can remember this from when they were our backcourt of Lowry and Van Vliet, the two small point guards starting for us. There really was an unspoken language between Kyle and Fred and how they worked off each other when we had that lineup on our team during those years. That Fred found that relationship playing alongside Kyle Lowry was the most rewarding and most fun to play with as a teammate his whole entire NBA career. So I mean, that makes sense. In some ways, Kyle and Fred, like Norman, were birds of a feather and have a lot of the same values and a lot of the same perspective of basketball in the NBA that would be enjoyable for him. He's saying like that he knew exactly what I was going to do without we just knew we were telegraphing each other and it was so fun and so smooth to play off each other, Lowry and Van Vliet. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. G saying, just make sure Shaq Lindsay isn't blocked out now. Yeah, I unhit him. I hope he's not totally blocked from the channel. I don't get why you do this, Trevor. I know you don't mean to, but it's like, oh my gosh, man. I've been losing good people lately that are not coming in as regularly right now. And I can't afford to lose any more regular Raptor freaks that are here showing up. So I may have to get rid of some of the moderators again and just take the powers off because this is where this happens. If I have too many moderators, these kind of problems can happen with misclicks. All right, I'm really kind of at the end of my tabs all of a sudden. I don't know if I got this in before the stream cut off yesterday, but I'll do the same straight goods on Canadian goods since I didn't get to it. Since there's such a great melt right now, and it seems like we might be going into spring from winter. This is awesome. I love this. There may be a bit of snow dusting in a couple days, but we've got such beautiful plus temperatures. And the 4 feet of snow in my yard has become 1 foot of snow at this point. There's an ice river. There's a river of ice outside in my yard, an ice river, green bottle water. I think that I may have shown this on the screen for a second and then I got cut off. This is my Canadian product of the day. This is a water bottle company here in Canada. They get the water from Canadian soil, and it's a 100% recycled product. The green bottle is signature for this company. So if you see this green bottle and it's the name Ice River, this is the right bottle of water to be buying wherever you are, whether it's in the smaller bottle or the large size like I'm holding right now. Ice River Green Bottle is completely a Canadian company. In fact, they had tried recently to take all the water rights from Nestle in our country and buy them out, but the merger fell through for some reason. But yeah, this is way better than Zephyr Hills, way better than Nestle, way better than Avion or whatever. This is Canadian. And with all the water moving around in my yard, I figured why not do Ice River Green Bottle. Straight goods on Canadian goods. That's your water company right there. If you want to be good for our country, is what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Jam Joss. Jam Joss is back, man. Somebody get Scott Foster a wedgie from me. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be funny. Scotty, run up to get Scott Foster. Of course, Scotty Barnes has a history with Scott Foster. The Scots had a problem against Nuggets a couple years ago where Scott Foster got told by Scotty, you be cheating, man. Something like that. He said, you cheating, bro. Something like that. I think that's what he said. It was something like that. And Scott Foster did not like it. It was alluding to the allegations about him and Tim Donaghy and the betting scandal. And Scott threw him out right at the end of the game against the Nuggets and Jokic. And it absolutely was a game changer. And we lost that game. It was very close. And I blame Scott Foster for losing that Nuggets game, for throwing out our best player at the end of the game because he's made a comment towards him. And I remember at that time, I said, Scott Foster, if you're not guilty with Tim Donaghy and you don't have any kind of problems with the betting thing, you're innocent, then why do you get so pissed off when people say that to you? If you're innocent, you should be like, I'm ignoring it because it has nothing to do with me. But your action of getting mad about it, it kind of like tells on you that you're guilty. Like, seriously. An innocent person would be like, no, it's BS. This has been stupid. This has been talked about for so long. But your hair trigger to get mad at Scott and to give him double text and throw him out in an instant for alluding that you're cheating, you know, in some ways it's like, you tell on yourself that you're guilty, Scott Foster, of something. And the phone records between you and Tim Donaghy are evidence that the FBI has, and they're fishy as hell. That man was not working by himself. And in some ways, Adam Silver and David Stern tried to nail just Tim Donaghy to close the problem and not make it look so prevalent with all the referees. They made him a scapegoat. They made him a patsy. And in some ways, the most likely candidate to be another gambling ref was Scott Foster. And he still is in some ways. So we got to watch him like a hawk, man. This dude, he is a manipulator, and we're gonna have to watch this. Give him a wedgie. That's right, Jam Joss. Give that man a wedgie. That's right. I can get behind that. We don't have a birthday today, but we did have a birthday yesterday, and I don't know if I got to being able to say it before the stream cut off. Yesterday was the birthday of the second coach in the history of Toronto Raptors history, Darrell Walker. Yeah, Darrell Walker had a very bad record as a coach of the Raptors for a year and a half, got fired in his second year halfway through. In some ways, he was Isaiah's guy to replace Brendan Malone, and he was a big fail. In fact, I consider him probably the worst Raptors coach ever. It's tough between him and Kevin O'Neill. I look at those two guys as the worst two coaches in the history of the Raptors. So happy birthday to Darrell Walker, an NBA champion with the Chicago Bulls. That was yesterday. But I don't know if I got to say that before my stream cut off. So I want to go ahead and say that. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying, listen, my phone fell out of my hand when I picked it back up. That's what happens. I did not do it on purpose. I know, Trevor. I know, man. It's just I don't want to have it happen every couple months. I know that in some ways you do everything through your phone, and people do make mistakes with butt dials and different things like that with their phone. I get it. It's all good. It's just, man, I can't afford to do this right now. I mean, it's weird because like we've gotten really good numbers for the streams. People are watching the streams every day in a good number right now. But the regulars, my regulars, the RFF crew that's in here every day giving me comments is lessening for to an extent. And in some ways that's good because the streams are shorter and tighter, but also at the same time, there's some personalities and some people that we're used to hearing from, and they're not circling through right now, and they are greatly missed. Infamous Seymour, and I know Kareem has come back in the last couple of days, but these people are missed. We need them back. We need them back. And if y'all watch me later and you hear me saying this, yeah, please come back, Infamous. Please come back, Seymour. Please come back and be regulars on the channel again. I don't know what's going on with Seymour. Maybe Seymour's got all kinds of issues going on out in Alberta, and he's had to take a step back because of work or anything in his personal life. I have no idea. Maybe I should reach out and check on him or something like that. But either way, we miss you guys, and we look forward to you guys returning. That's what I say. Kaz is here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. That's right. I didn't really go over who won their matchups in the fantasy this past week. HC did beat me in this week that just passed. Also, congratulations to Cool Cat getting her second win of the year over Bryce. Amit did beat Fiercey in that matchup. It was very close. Jason Dukes lost to MK in an epic battle right there. Nins out of Philly beat Omari. Kareem lost to James, and James is still in second place, though. Kaz did beat me. Kaz beat Andrew. And Gerald won his matchup against Logical Raptors Fanatic. So, yeah, the playoff picture in our fantasy league is almost pretty much set because all the spots are getting taken up. There's still a little bit of room. Right now, it's Nins and Kaz in those spots, and Fiercey's on the outside looking in at this point because Kaz has 10 wins and she has 9. So that's really the action where anything kind of can change still. Is right there. But congratulations to the winners this past week in our Yahoo Fantasy League. And, well, we keep playing until the season's over. So be ready. We're going to be getting to the playoffs soon because, we're going to play playoffs in April pretty much. That's how it works. All right, let's see. We got to do some classic cards. We were supposed to do one yesterday. We didn't get to it. because of the stream ending abruptly. So and I know Slug Deezy's always wanting to get his classic cards in. I know he waited patiently last stream for 3 hours, and then I got cut off, and he'd like to play the stream. So yeah, I think I tried to do a card, but nobody was answering, and Slug Deezy said, "Yeah, I'm done." All right, here we go. Here's the first one. The first classic card of the day. It's for a defunct franchise that may come back very soon. Let's see if you guys know who this player is. I think we've had this player as a card recently. I want to see if you guys can remember who it is from what I saw. There's James Worthy on the side there of the Lakers. But if you can give me the full name answer on the classic card of yesterday, this is yesterday's classic card. Derek McKee is right. Yeah, we had Derek McKee in another card recently. And yeah, that's right. Smooth, you got it. It's not exactly how you spell his first name, but that's okay. I'll take it. So Smooth is going to get the first classic card today, Derek McKee. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to be 100 points. Because I think that we had Derek McKee recently, but the other card was a worse angle to see him. All right, let's get the second card in. Yeah, we'll do this one. Here we go. And we get this is a different team than the Sonics. This is a certain team here. All right, there you go. Wow, we got a Raptors card today. All right, so who is this classic card of the day? Yeah, this is kind of a cool card. I might keep this one, actually. Can you tell who that is, or should I come closer? Can you tell who that is? Yeah, look at that one. I want to see. You guys, it's a Raptor. We should get it right away, y'all. It is a Raptor card. So this is a Raptor Freak channel. David Johnson. That's right. Fiercey remembers David Johnson. A rookie that came in the same year as Delano and Scotty Barnes. Was the pick right after Delano Banton of Toronto. And he is currently playing for Tasmanian Jacks in the NBL in Australia. So, yeah, David Johnson's right. And you know what? I'm going to give you 100 points for that one, too. Because I feel like that, David Johnson's a little bit of an obscure Raptor, considering he only played like 2 games for the Raptors in the NBA. Fiercey getting on the board for that one. So 100 points for Fiercey on the David Johnson card there. Cool stuff. Good job, Fiercey. Clap for Fiercey. She's clapping for Smooth. Why not? All right, I guess I'm not going to lollygag or wait around here, and I'll go ahead and wrap up the stream, and we'll do a nice, tight, quick preview. A little bit different than the long Lexathon yesterday, celebrating the double W on Sunday of Women's International Day, the wins over Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks, and the Delaware Bluecoats and Kennedy Chandler. Yeah. All right. Let's do this again real quick. The injuries for the teams. Toronto is listing right now, and this is it's not boding well, guys. I'm going to say this right now. Trace Jackson Davis is out due to his hurt middle finger from the warm-ups on Sunday. He is out today, not available. Jakob Poeltl is questionable for today. He is sick. It is not the back-to-back management. It could very well be that it is decided which game he's going to sit because he's sick right now. He's going to sit against the Rockets, and then he'll play against the Pelicans, hopefully, because he feels better. But he wasn't going to play both these games either way. And I was hoping Jakob Poeltl would play against the Rockets and sit out against the Pelicans. But if he's sick right now and he doesn't feel well, maybe he's sitting out against the Rockets, and he'll be playing against the Pelicans and Derek Queen. In some ways, it's like, all right, well, we better for sure beat New Orleans if we're not going to have a better chance to beat Rockets. AJ Lawson is day-to-day due to an ankle injury. Colin Murray-Boyles has a thumb injury, and he will miss this game tonight. And Chucky Hepburn is out too. I believe I saw somewhere saying that Elijah Martin is with the Raptors and not with the G League team right now. Let me just make sure. I'm going to go and look at Blake Murphy's Blue Skies because he said it here. Let's see. Yeah, Lawson and Hepburn are injured with the 905, who are going to be going to New York to play Westchester Knicks. But Elijah Martin is with the Raptors in Houston right now. So we could see Elijah Martin playing for the Raptors in the game today, just so you guys know. That's the breaking news from Blake Murphy out of there. Now, on the other side of things, Houston, Jayshawn Tate is out with an MCL sprain. Steven Adams is out for the rest of the season, and Fred VanVleet is out because of a torn ACL. Now, that means it's probably going to be their regular starting lineup right now. Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Sengun. So, yeah, we'll have to look out for that very big lineup that Udoka puts out there for the Rockets. They've lost 3 out of their last 5 games, so they are susceptible. But the crew chief for today is Scott Foster, and his highest, best record out of all the NBA teams is for the Rockets. He has the highest winning percentage out of all 30 teams for Houston. In the replay center tonight, Aaron Smith, Shea Flores, Michael Smith, and Simone Jelks. That's who's going to be watching from above. Gianmitas Petraeus is the second ref. He favors the Raptors. We've had a good record with him this season. And Danica Mosier / Baruti is the third ref. And Basketball Reference has got to get her all figured out because she's not 2 different people. You got it all wrong on there, Basketball Reference. So, yeah. All right. ESPN's not really giving us a good chance to win this game. 64% that the Rockets will win. Yeah. I'd say this. If we don't have the big guys and we have to be creative in trying to beat the Rockets with a smaller team, well, let's lean into that difference and take all the advantages a smaller, speedier team, a dogged up on them team could have. Maybe it is a recipe for more turnovers and fast break for us, getting the ball off of the larger Rockets players who are maybe not the best ball handlers, trapping, getting like a shed on them like a dog, a junkyard dog, just jumping on them, going after them and getting it coughed up, getting Jacoby Walter to look for those moments to grab the ball. Trapping like the Raptors have been trapping could be very successful against the Rockets today. And then, if we are at a disadvantage of size, we're going to have to find an advantage somewhere else. So, and the other thing with this team against the Rockets is we're going to have to gang rebound. We're going to have to all be boxing out and really, really trying to take care of the boards as best as we can, because this is a department that they're naturally going to have an advantage against us. So we're just going to have to try and do stuff. It could very well be that Scotty needs to look at Sengun and say, that's the superstar on the other side. I need to out-superstar him. It may very well be that Scotty is matched up with Alperen for a lot of the game, and maybe we'll see some good things happen because Scotty is just like that as a defender, and he can tie up Sengun, the focal point of their offense, a little bit better in certain ways. There's all kinds of different ways we could have paths to success against the Rockets tonight, and it's up to the coaching staff and the players to see it and exploit it and utilize the right game plan to do that. So we'll just have to see what Darko's scheming. In some ways, it may be very pleasantly surprising that the Raptors are handling the Rockets well because of very genius coaching strategies that are implemented by the Raptors coaching staff for the team to employ against the Rockets today. So let's hope that's what's going to happen. Vegan Grass, good morning to you. Always great to see you in the 905 chat and also here on the Raptor Freak stream in the morning. He's wondering if Mobo will play if Jakob sits. I think this is a very good point. In fact, I'm going to give you a dunk. This is something I probably should have mentioned. Yeah, Jonathan's probably going to be playing in Houston today. I don't see him being with the 905 right now. They don't need him in New York until Thursday. So because of the problems with the depth, J-Mo is probably very likely going to be utilized for the Raptors to help with the size with people missing. Obviously, if Trace and Colin are out, we're going to need those guys. So you're getting the RJ9, man. That's a good comment to come in and kind of throw in at the end. Yeah, I will speculate like Elijah that Jonathan Mobo will be available for the Raptors in Houston today. Yeah, I'll speculate that. Yeah, Bryce, good morning to you, man. Let's get that dub today, boys. Yeah, I hope so. It's going to be a tall order, though, and Scott Foster may be standing in our way before getting it. He loves the Rockets, and, well, we're going to have to blow the Rockets out because Scott Foster will manipulate the game at the end to try and hand a win to Houston. So we're just going to have to watch that. So pay real close attention to our crew chief tonight. And see how full of shit he is. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. I appreciate everybody watching me. And if you do watch me when I'm not live in the morning, I suggest that you watch me at 1.5 speed because you can hear me very clearly, and an hour stream turns into a 45-minute stream, right? Or a 2-hour stream turns into an hour stream. So check out watching me at a faster stream to go time travel in your life and actually get more time in your day in a kind of weird way. That's right. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for watching me. And we'll come back tomorrow with a reaction to the game tonight and a preview of the New Orleans game tomorrow night. And like I said, this back to back is not that bad because it really is just a quick trip down Interstate 10 to get from Houston to New Orleans. So this is not a bad back to back in any kind of way for the travel. Trust me. And well, let's take care of business against the Rockets and then definitely take care of business against the Pelicans tomorrow. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Let's go, Raptors. Let's try and beat them, even with Scott Foster there. It's going to be tough. Y'all can't play with a lot of mistakes, and y'all can't let yourself get out of your head because the refs may be a little weird tonight. So please play right, play the right way, play ethically, take care of the ball, look out for each other, play a team game where you're moving the ball around. And the strength of you guys off of each other, playing off each other, is one of the most powerful things the Toronto Raptors have on their franchise right now. All right, guys, let's go Brandon Ingram. Let's go Scotty. Let's go RJ. Let's go Emmanuel. And let's beat the Rockets tonight. Let's go Houston Cougars. Jamal Shed. Let's go. Shetty. Yeah. Yeah.